Love makes me treat you the way that I do. Gee, baby, ain't I good to you? There's nothing too good for a girl that's so true. Gee, baby, ain't I good to you? Bought you a fur coat for Christmas, a diamond ring, a Cadillac car, and everything. Love makes me treat you the way that I do. Gee, baby, ain't I good to you?
Greetings, peeps, and welcome to History of Rock Online, MUS 119W. I'm very excited that you've elected to join our course. I look forward to getting to know each of you. Just a little bit about me to start. First of all, please understand I'm a pretty laid-back guy. I do go by Dr. H or Dr. Hendrickson, not Mr. So that's the only stickler I have about me. That's just the way I roll. So please, when you are addressing me through email or if you see me on the street, it's Dr. H or Dr. Hendrickson, and I do appreciate that. Other than that, I'm a pretty laid-back guy, and I will work with you all I can. You may find that life is stressful. Let's just be honest here, and there's a lot going on. So I try to make it as easy as possible and as stress-free as possible. However, the work still has to be done by you. So please communicate with me if you're having issues, technical difficulties, and so forth. I will work with you all I can. So let's talk a little bit about how our course works. This is an asynchronous online course, and what that means is that we don't have any regularly scheduled virtual or physical meeting time. We don't meet on a regular basis. That's part of the beauty of taking an online course, is so you don't have an obligation to show up, on a regular basis. You can show up when you want. However, that also means that your progress and your participation is entirely up to you. Now, as a result of that, I do provide a detailed course calendar for you so that you can see when things begin and when things are due. Even though we are asynchronous and we're not meeting on a regular basis, that does not excuse us from having to follow a schedule. Assignments have to be turned in on a regular basis. And as with any history survey course like this is a history of rock and roll. So essentially it's like a music survey of American rock and roll. There has to be a systematic format of the way information is presented and how you collect that information, how you process that information, and how you are assessed, which that's the quizzes and the written assignments. So understand that's what the purpose of that detailed course calendar is for. And then I will also provide with you or for you regular announcements. These can be found on our e-learning site, on our site's homepage. And you may have already noticed that I send out, not only are they posted on the homepage to the e-learning site, I also copy these in an email to you every single time so that you have ample opportunity to read this information. I generally use these notifications if we have significant changes to our schedule, or if something should happen and the school shut down for a week due to inclement weather or what have you. That's what the purpose of the announcements is for. Also, like I say, if there are significant changes to an assignment or a due date or things like that, you're going to hear about it on e-learning, on the home page, announcements, and on our through your email. Having said that, let me just iterate here. I can't force students to read emails any more than I can force students to complete assignments, okay? This is on you. You have to be engaged enough in the course in order to read the emails that are sent to you, and in order to do the work that's required of you based upon what you see on the detailed course calendar and on our e-learning site and on our online text. So your progress is solely dependent upon the amount of effort you put in, as is your grade. So just understand that this is on you. You got to do the work. A little bit about how our course is structured. There are essentially two sides to the story. There is an online textbook side, and let me interject here that if you have not already done so, you've got to purchase that online textbook access code. You cannot successfully pass this course without the online text. Why? Because all of the assignments, the readings, exercises, listening, written assignments, quizzes, and exams, these are all found on our online text, nowhere else. So please, you got to have that textbook. You can't pass the course without it. And then there is the e-learning D2L side of our course, which contains some useful components, very useful components, such as the detailed course calendar, as I mentioned earlier. Also, modules that have descriptions of each of the sections of our course, the attendance drop box, and discussion topics, and news and announcements. Now, I'm going to be going into detail about both our online text and our e-learning site in a bit, but for now, just understand there are two sides to the story, and that's what it is, our textbook and e-learning. Both are found online. Now, let's take a look at navigating around our e-learning site so we get a little bit more familiar with how things work. Okay, let's take a look at navigating around our e-learning site. So when you first log on to e-learning, obviously you should see all of the courses that you're currently enrolled in. If you are only enrolled in my course, that's all you're going to see. You click on that and you'll be brought to the course's homepage, which is what we're looking at right now. On the homepage, you have news and announcements. As I said in my most recent email to you, I don't know what happened to our initial announcement. It evaporated, but here it is again. So hopefully that won't go away. But all other announcements, future announcements and so forth will be posted here. And as you will learn, I also copy these to you through email. So you'll get both this on the homepage and you'll get an email as well containing the same information. A little bit more about this homepage. Notice how you have in the lower right-hand corner of the page a calendar, a work to do thing. This just kind of shows you what is coming due. And you have a calendar here that tells you when things are coming due as well. But don't confuse this with the detailed course calendar. The majority of things that you're going to be working with as far as our e-learning site go can be found under the Contents tab. So just click on that and you'll be brought to this page. And you can see here all of these modules on the left. First is, of course, the course syllabus. You have a course description, you have about the instructor, instructor information, required materials, assignments and grading and so forth. And you can read through this at your leisure and your discretion. The most important thing here right now is this detailed course calendar or course schedule. You can see here things are divided up into sections. There are a total of 14 sections to our course, and each of these is divided into subsections or chapters, if you want to, classes. For example, music basics and what is jazz, the blues, so forth, as well as discussion topics. Those are the little DTs there that you see. This podcast options, these may not happen this semester, so don't worry too much about those. That's why they are TBA for the time being. Everything else, though, is something you should consider should consider important. Note how there are quizzes. Just this schedule just simply shows you what things are, when they begin, okay, so, and when they are due. So you have a start date and you have a finish date. So they start this, for example, this first section started on January 6th and will end on January 18th. And then the next one begins on January 12th and will end on January 5th. And I try to give you at least 2 weeks per section to complete work. Sometimes it ends up being a little bit less depending upon how the academic calendar works out. If you click on these sections, for example, section 1, you'll notice that there's no actual assignment present here. This is just telling you what's here. And it's telling you when it starts and when it ends. That's all. The actual assignments are found on our online text. So if you click to this online textbook link, you click on our online text, you'll be brought to the textbook, which is where all of these assignments are found. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But this is just for your own use, so you can browse through these. Additionally, you might note that the due dates for these and the start dates are also present under these section modules. You also have the midterm and the final exam modules. Again, this is just telling you when they start, when they end, and a little bit of information about each of those exams. Okay, so let's also take a look about another aspect of the e-learning site, and that would be the discussion topics. The discussion topics are found under the Activities tab. So if you click on the Activities tab and you go to Discussions, you will see our first discussion topic, which is introductions, and which many of you have already started, and that's great. Notice that the introductions tab is something you have to subscribe to before you can post. And then you are asked to provide some information about yourself and to provide a short response to 2 of your classmates. So many of you have already done this, and I appreciate everything that you've done so far. Just understand this is something that you do need to do. This is part of our regular coursework, although this does not involve a right or wrong answer. If you click on the heading, this just sort of tells you what it is that you are being asked to do when you participate in the online discussions. And there will be more than one right now. We just simply have the first one. If you click on the discussions list, that's all you're going to see for the time being. Okay, let's go back to the Contents tab briefly, and let's take a look at another component, and that is the weekly attendance. So here it says, here are links to record your weekly attendance. Simply click on the link and you'll be brought to the appropriate assignment drop box. Once there, simply enter the word present in the text submission box and hit submit. Your attendance will be recorded. So let's just check out what happens if you were to click on January 12th through the 18th. It's going to tell you this is an unavailable link. Why? Because it's not January 12th yet. So you're going to have to go back to the Content tab, and you're going to go to the week that is currently available, and that is, of course, this first week, January 6th through the 11th. And you'll see here, once again, this is where you'll record your weekly attendance. Simply enter the message present in the text submission box below, hit submit, and your attendance is recorded. So click in this box right here and type in the words submit. It doesn't have to be all caps. It can be however you want. I just need the word submit. That's all. I'm sorry, I said that incorrectly. Present, that's what we need, not submit. And then you hit the submit button. And it'll ask you, are you sure this is what you want? Because it says here, this submission folder only allows one submission. Are you sure you wish to submit? And you say yes. Okay, and your attendance is recorded. You can click done, and that's going to bring you to this sort of register here that shows that you have submitted one submission, and that's fine. Note that there are no points awarded just yet, although you will receive these points, but only after the submissions have been entered. So please just be patient. It will happen. It's just a question of the amount of time it takes to record your attendance. Once you hit that submission, though, you're done. Your attendance is recorded, so don't worry about that. Let's click back to the Contents tab briefly and just take a look here through all of these modules. Notice how, again, it goes through all 14 sections of our course. Understand that each course, we can take a look at this through our detailed course schedule. Each course contains classes. The classes are all numbered. So in total, there are 29 classes. Also note that there are these quizzes that occur periodically, and there are 4 written assignments. Those are the ones in red here. The written assignments 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's also, if you notice in this little green area right here, it says a special jazz performance written report, which is due the last day of class, April 25th. A little bit of a word about that. This does not have to be a live performance. Your textbook says you should go to a jazz club or something like that. Well, we don't have that many jazz clubs available to us in this area. So you are welcome to go to a live jazz performance, and I will be providing you with a list of dates and locations of where some jazz combos that I personally know of and even have personally played in will be available. But you are also welcome to simply watch a YouTube performance. You do not have to attend a live performance. Some people just simply aren't comfortable with going into a pub or in a concert venue, and I get that. Not a problem. You can watch you can watch a YouTube performance. However, it must be understood that you need to watch the performance in its entirety, and you need to provide me with the link and the titles that you listen to. So please do take advantage of this opportunity, but it is not necessary for you to watch a live performance if you're not comfortable with that. Perfectly fine. If you do happen to watch a live performance, I'm going to ask you the same types of questions. And if there is a program available, if you went to, for example, a theater or concert hall to watch the performance, normally a program is provided. If there is no program that's provided, I'm simply going to ask you the name of the band and the date that you attended and where, what location was it. That's all I'm going to need. So not too much stress on that one, folks. Really, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Okay, so I hope this gives you some insight into our online e-learning site, what to do and how to navigate. So let's get back to our instruction vid. Okay, so hopefully that was informative for you. If you have questions about how our e-learning site works, please do not hesitate to get in touch with me. Now, let's take a look at the other side of the story, which is our online textbook. Let's see how that plays into this navigating around our online text. Okay, so now let's take a look at navigating around our online text. First, obviously, we access our online text through the e-learning site. So when you come to the Contents tab, you'll see that one of the modules is our online text. You click on that, and you will be brought to the online text. This is what you're going to see on Music Jazz. And you can see here that all of the items that we're going to be asked to look at, classes and so forth, are divided by section. And then the individual classes and what is contained in those classes. If you just click on, for example, you can look at these introductions if you wish. It's not essential, but sometimes they're helpful. But understand if you do that, It's going to give you a description and an overview of the course, and this has an overview of the entire text. It also gives you some samples of music that you can listen to, and the reason it does this is you will see these same types of samples provided for you within our online text. If at any point you want to go back to the opening page of our online text, simply click on this link right here next to the word dashboard, and it'll bring you right back to where you were. So let's take a look here at the first class involving the keyboard. Notice how it gives you a description of what the keyboard is, things like adjacent keys, half steps, and so forth. Notice how it also gives you something called Show Me. These are tools. When you click on these, it is demonstrating for you visually as well as through sound orally what a half step is, from a white key to a black key. You might also notice you can press on these and they will sound. And you can always go back to show you. This is from a black key to a white key again. Notice how it plays them for you, and you can click on these yourself. You also have the option of doing this anytime you see this type of keyboard offered to you. So, and then you have a virtual keyboard here, and you can play it at your heart's content, but it's just saying the following interactive exercise shows the 3 possible key combinations that produce half steps on the keyboard. I will also have a demonstration vid of this for you shortly that just talks about the keyboard. But if you click on this Show Me button, so it's giving you all of these demonstrations. So these are great little interactive things. Also, anytime you see a speaker that is asking you for or providing for you examples, you just click on the speaker and it plays it for you. And then it says here to try playing half steps and whole steps, both ascending and descending on the keyboard. This is an interactive keyboard. And you have an option of it showing you something called accidentals, the sharps and the flats, or both. You can just show sharps, or you can just show flats. It's entirely up to you, or you can show both. So I encourage you to play around with this as to your heart's content. Let's talk about navigating through the book all as well. Notice you have these arrows here, these orange arrows. You have one at the bottom that will take you back to the top of the page. Click on the right arrow, it advances us forward 1 page. Again, you have some interactive tools that you can listen to, but this is simply a description of something called the octave within a keyboard. So I encourage you to read these. And again, going through to advance to the next page, all you do is click on the arrow. You might notice at the top, there's even a lecture that you can listen to. There's also music that you can discover. There is videos that you can watch. And then there is something called an artist profile. If you click on this artist profile, this is giving you the featured artist of any given chapter. And this one happens to deal with Mr. Scott Joplin. It tells you when he was born, where he was born, and a brief description or brief biography of this particular composer, American composer. So yeah, there you go. Pretty easy really to navigate. And I again encourage you to avail yourself to these interactive tools. Anything that's highlighted, you can hover over it and you get a description. Anything that looks like this is an interactive tool that you can use, and you have several of them. And always avail yourself to these show me buttons, because they tell you and demonstrate for you what things are. Also, you have some things on the right side of your text that have things like fun facts. These are interesting little things that you can do. Again, the arrows help you navigate from page to page. Okay, let's go back to that first opening page to our online text, and let's take a look at something else, such as a quiz. Let's take a look at section 1. When you click on a quiz, notice how it says you have 6 attempts, okay? You can preview the quiz, and the quizzes are all multiple choice. So you read the question, a 7-note scale, also known as a diatonic scale, that progresses in whole and half steps according to the following pattern. So the W means whole, the H means half, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, is what kind of scale? And here are your choices: major scale, a whole tone scale, a minor scale, or an octatonic scale. There's only one correct answer, and that would be a major scale. You click on your selected answer, you click submit, and guess what? It tells you immediately if your answer is correct or not. So this is a really useful and interactive text, so I encourage you to avail yourself to all of those components. Let's go back to the opening page again, and now let's take a look at one of the written assignments, because the quizzes are all pretty much laid out in the same. This first written assignment, number 1, is jazz origins. Let's click on that, and I want you to understand how these work. This particular written assignment says Scott Joplin's Solace, a Mexican Serenade, is a very beautiful piece. It's hard to believe that the form of solace is based on a march. However, piano rags, such as those by Joplin, were formerly based on marches. So, and when they say formerly, they don't mean as in former or formerly, in other words, like long ago. It just means that their form structure is based on a march. We'll have more discussions on things like this as we go along, but just understand that this is giving you some very, very, very specific instructions. It says here, Solace has several sections. Listen specifically from 0000 to 03.12 or colon 12, and address the following questions. So I want you to listen. Here is the sample, and we'll just play a little bit of it here. Okay, so, and you can of course pause that at any time. Also, notice how it asks you if you want to get Spotify. If you have Spotify, it might come up in a Spotify window when you click on that play button. That's entirely up to you. If at any point you have any difficulties listening to any of these examples, let me know immediately, because we'll have to contact the publisher's OIT department and have them straighten it out. But essentially, you just read through these questions to answer them. Now, notice here, it says submission instructions. Click Add Submission. Use the text entry box and or upload a file to add your assignment. Click Save Changes. You will have the option to edit the submission after you have saved your changes to continue working on your assignment. Click Submit Assignment when you are ready to submit your assignment to your instructor. All of this is what is available to you. I do not have the option at this point to demonstrate for you how to submit an assignment, but you will see at the very bottom of the page on your view, you will see a submit assignment or add submission, button. Once you do see that, you'll be able to view that, and you'll be able to submit your answers. here is a little bit of a problem with this. If you are trying to complete these written assignments on your phone or on, let's say, a tablet like an iPad or something along that lines, you may have difficulty because you may not be able to scroll on your tablet or your phone as efficiently and quickly or as far as you can on a PC. So make sure that you view the entire page. Make sure that you view down to the bottom of the page. Otherwise, you may not be able to make an assignment submission. So again, if you have any difficulties with anything along these lines, the thing to do is to email me as quickly as possible so that we can get you set up and get you taken care of right away. So let's go back again to that opening page. Notice how all of the sections are displayed for you. You can see where every quiz is. You can see where the midterm is. And you can see where all of the written assignments are. And the written assignments are all numbered. Now, one more thing I wanted to point out to you is viewing your grade. Now, if you click up to, you won't have a gradebook option here, but you will have My Grade at the top of your page. When you click on that, you'll be brought to a page that looks like this. And again, there's the My Grades tab that you'll see. And you'll see something along these lines. All of the assignments here listed on the left, the quizzes, and of course the exams. And then notice you'll have a percentage and a letter grade, feedback if there is any, contribution to the course total, which is sort of like a cumulative score. And then it'll show the due dates and the dates submitted. Notice how these are all from a few years ago, so you don't need to worry about that. Yours will have the up-to-date versions. But see how we have all the written assignments grouped together, 4 of them, right? And then we have all the quizzes grouped together. Your scores will appear here. Notice how the first quiz that I took, I did not answer everything. I just simply saved it, and I got the letter grade of an F because there's no work, right? There's no answer. I'm sure yours won't be an F. I'm sure when you submit your work, it'll have the letter A. So but do understand that's how these work. You get a percentage score and a letter grade, and that is the most up-to-date, accurate information on your grade for the course. Obviously, it does not include the discussion topic or your attendance. This just includes the work that is on your online text, but it is the most accurate description of where you're at. Once these assignments have been submitted, then I go through them, grade them accordingly, and then I enter your grade onto our e-learning site. But that takes a while, so be patient. Understand again that the most accurate depiction of your grade at present will be found on your online text. Every time you complete an assignment, that's pretty much what your grade is, but it is not a final grade by any means. Please remember that I grade on participation and effort every bit as much as I do on correct answers and so forth. So hopefully this has helped you understand that you can navigate easily around our online text. One more thing before we leave this, and that is notice that when you open your online text, the page for our e-learning site remains open. This is handy, especially if you want to see when things are due and when they start. So you can go over this, you can go back and forth between our e-learning site and our online text. Okay, let's get back to our introduction video. Okay, so once again, I hope that these little side trips are informative for you. And if you have questions of any aspect of the course, either e-learning or online text or the materials that we cover, please do not hesitate to shoot me an email. Having said that, let me talk about communicating with me a little bit. It's important for you to understand that I do my best to respond to all emails within 24 to 48 hours. The only exception to that is the weekends. I do not respond to emails on the weekends if I can help it. Now, if it's an emergency or there are just major glitches that I have to get through, as there were in the beginning of our course, then yes, of course I do. But as a general rule, if you email me on a Friday, you're not going to hear back from me until the following Monday. Again, there are exceptions to that as well, but I just want everyone to be aware I do everything within my power to answer email within a 24 to 48 hour period. I'm not on campus every day of the week. Particularly this semester, I'm only on campus 2 to 3 days a week. So while you are welcome to visit me on campus, and you're certainly welcome to drop by my office, I may not be in. And the best way to ensure that I'm there for you is to email me, and that way I can set aside time just for you. If we need to have a face-to-face meeting in person, we can certainly do that in my office. We'll set that up through email, or we can do it virtually through a Zoom meeting or WhatsApp or some other format. I have no problem doing that whatsoever. We just need to set it up ahead of time. So please do take the time to communicate with me whatever needs you may have. Now, let's move on to attendance. Now, as I said earlier, this is an asynchronous online course, so there's no regular meeting time for us to take attendance, let's say. But you still have to be engaged in the course. So your attendance is solely dependent upon your own engagement in the course materials. So this is why I created that attendance module for you to log in every week, just one time, and submit the word present. That way you're engaged in the course, right? And that counts as your attendance for that week. I don't think it's necessary for people to log in every single day and say, I'm here. That's not necessary. If this course were being taught face-to-face, we would most likely only meet 1 day a week. So that's why I only require you to record your attendance 1 day a week. 1 day a week. And there's only one submission per week allowed. So it doesn't matter which day you log in to submit this attendance. You have from Sundays at 12:01 a.m. to the following Saturday at 11:59 p.m. to do this. So just on one of those days, whichever one you want, log in, go to the attendance module, type present in the text submission box, hit submit, your attendance will be recorded. Okay? So that shouldn't be too difficult. But if you have problems or issues with it, email me, let me know, and we will do our best to get that taken care of. As far as grading goes, as I mentioned in the side trip there we took to look at our online text, the most accurate and up-to-date representation of your progress in the course can be found on our online text under that My Grades tab. Now, it should be noted here that, as I said in the vid, this is just an example of what your progress is on the online text with respect to the assignments that are presented to you on our online text. It is not the total of your grade, right? I say this because I do not grade on test scores and essay scores alone. I grade on effort and participation. So if I see that you are engaged in the course, that you are communicating on a regular basis, that you're submitting those attendance notifications, you're going to make an A. There's no question. Even if you're bombing quizzes or you're not doing so well in the readings or so forth, that doesn't mean that you're not going to pass the course. It just simply means you might need a little bit of additional help. And I do periodically check to see students' progress. So if I see you're kind of falling behind, you're going to hear from me. I will let you know. We'll try to work together to bring you back up to speed. But just understand that while your online text does provide you with your progress, right, and most up-to-date information, it's not your total grade. Now, your grade, your total grade, will eventually be presented to you on e-learning, but it takes a bit for those records to transfer from one platform to another. So it takes some time. So be patient. It will happen. But if at any point you have a question about your grade, email me. I'll be happy to discuss it with you. So again, remember that I grade on effort and participation. If you're engaged in the course, if you're doing all those things we talked about, if you're participating in the online discussions, you're going to do absolutely fine. So having said that, that's about it for this informative video and introductions. I look forward to getting to know each of you. I've enjoyed reading your introductions on our first discussion topic. There will be more to come. I also should mention that there will also be other lecture vids for you to watch that have informative stuff regarding the subject matter that we're talking about. So please keep an eye out for those. Watch your emails. Check your emails on a regular basis. Do the work, and it's going to be great. So folks, have an excellent semester, and please let me know if you have questions. And I look forward to seeing all of you soon. Take care now.
I'm a sentimental sap, that's all. What's the use of trying not to fall? I have no will, you made your kill, 'cause you took advantage of me. I'm just like an apple on a bough, and you're gonna shake me down somehow. So what's the use? You've cooked my goose, 'cause you took advantage of me. I'm so hot and bothered that I don't know my